The second step, we get it for them. If you told the employee you're going to call them back, what would it be a good idea then? Oh, call them back. American executives statistically complete 50% of what they commit to doing. What I try to get across, like, dude, if your employees did 50% of what you asked, you'd fire them. It's not hard. If you told them you're going to email them, email them. If you're buried, just email them and say, I'm buried, I'll get back to you tomorrow. They understand. In the second step, we say to be, as you see, polite. That means I treat everybody, sir, ma'am. The dishwasher, sir, ma'am, can I, you know my number one thing to do? Get the dishwasher something to drink. It's not hard. Joe, you want something to drink? No, I'm good. Or, yeah, I'll take a Coke. Ice or no ice? And if I'm really good, I remember what they all like. And then I get it for them, like the bartender knows when you go in. What do you think? You think the dishwasher doesn't know I'm in charge? Of course they know I'm in charge. But if the dishwasher got to stop washing dishes to walk to the other side of the dish line to get the Coke, it slows everything down, number one. Number two, do you think I'm showing respect for their work? Small thing, man. It takes me 32 seconds, maybe. Changes, if their work performance goes up 10% because they feel cared about and noticed and respected, and they work 40 hours a week and it took me 32 seconds and a Coke, no ice. Like, seriously? Enthusiastically. Who has customers they don't really like? Who has customers they're sick of? Who has customers when you see they called or they emailed you wish that they didn't? Okay, so when you have employees that you don't really like, it's normal. You're not marrying them. You're working with them. It's normal human behavior. We get tired of each other, whether any relationship. But it's my job to act enthusiastic like I'm happy to see them. It's true, because when I see customers I don't really like, I still act happy to see them, and I don't go, dude, did you have to come in again? I'm so sick of your order. Can't you go somewhere else? I don't say that. I look happy to see them, and it's the same with the employees. Third step, go the extra mile. I gave a good story this morning. It's just doing something for the guests that they didn't ask us for that makes them happy. And it's the same for employees. Just tiny little things. It's amazing. Who told me? He told me. What did you tell me about your old boss? The flowers?
Flowers.
What did he say?
Flowers.
Say it loud.
Oh, my boss used to tell me that he wanted to give me flowers for my work before I died. In other words,
Graham particularly enjoys that joke. What do you do? Do y'all know him?
That's your employees on your back.
Graham hopes they do it both, when you die and before you die. The point is, small little things make a big difference. There's 100 million stories. There's a line cook at the Roadhouse. He's from Mexico. I found out he plays the accordion. He's in a band. He actually played at the farmer's market on Thursday. That's how I found out. So there's a CD, there's an Irish music. I don't know a lot about Mexican accordion, but I like Irish music a lot. I'm not Irish, but I like Irish music. So there's this woman who's known as the Jimi Hendrix of the accordion, Sharon Shannon. No, she's great. She's like 5 feet maybe. She's unbelievable. Seriously, check it out. Anyway, so for whatever, $12, I got him the CD. $12. I mean, seriously. It's like not even an hour's pay, and the guy works 40, 50 hours a week for the last 5 years.
So what did he say?
He came back. I didn't know if he's going to like it because it's not his, ethnic music, but he loved it. So then I was in Chicago doing a book signing, and this guy comes up to me who I never heard of because I don't know anything about classical accordion. And he turns out he's American, but he lives in France, and he turns out to be playing at Orchestra Hall in Chicago, but he loves Zingerman's. And he sees me signing books, so he comes over and he's like, I never heard of it, I feel bad, but he's like a world famous classical accordionist. So he gives me his CD as a gift because he likes my cookbook. I gave it to Javier because, no offense, but I don't listen to classical accordion. But Javier came, and I thought, he might not, he's 25, 26. from Mexico. It's not who you go. This guy's going to love classical accordion. He came back. I mean, he was like, I love that CD. So then I got him a book. There's a great book called Accordion Times by Annie Proulx. It's about different ethnic groups. Each one comes and this accordion gets somehow passed. It's a fiction, but it gets passed. So first, I don't know, there's actually somebody in Louisiana is one of them. But each ethnic group comes and it goes, the accordion goes from one to the next over like a 200, 300 year period. It's a beautiful book. Anyway, I found it for him, but I found it in Spanish. It costs $20, man. I mean, seriously. It's nothing. I know, but it's nothing. And I should do it more, but I'm just saying that these little things can change their whole relationship to the work for nothing. For nothing. Nothing. $20 on somebody that's working 2,000 hours a week. I mean, a year, 2,000 hours a year. 2,000 hours a year. No, 2,000 hours, 40 hours times 50. He's working 2,000 hours a year plus because he probably works overtime for the last 6, 7 years. You know how many orders he touches? You know how much food he cooks that y'all eat when you come in? And it's not like the $10 changes everything for life, but it's a small thing that he remembers. And y'all are capable of doing that. Okay, very quickly, 5 steps to handling complaints. These work for customers and they work for employees. So with the customer, when they complain about something, whether they're wrong or right, we just follow these steps. The first step is you acknowledge what they're saying. That's a very simple, usually it's like, oh. Or you could go, I like your earrings. Or you could go, wow. Or you could do them together. You want to practice? Oh, wow. Oh, that was fabulous. Then we go to the second step. I'm really sorry.
And mean it.
Well, you got to act like you don't actually have to mean it, but you got to convince them you mean it. No, it's true. I'd read about acting. Somebody brought me an acting book. It's the same. You don't have to mean it, but they got to believe you mean it. Bad acting is very poor. Then the third thing is we fix it. Okay? Then we thank them for complaining. Why would we do that? If they don't complain to us, who are they complaining to? Social media, whatever. Okay. And then we write up the complaints so we have a database and we can keep track. So when an employee complains, are the customers always right when they complain, by the way? No. But we act like they're right. We never say the customer is always right. You know why we don't say that? It's not true. Why tell people, if you tell your employees something that's not true, they'll sit there and they'll go like this. But it's like saying up is down. We tell them the truth. And customers are frequently wrong, but we're going to act like they're right anyway. It's so much more real. So when an employee complains about something, even if they're wrong, and I'm doing my job right, I just do the same thing. Wow. I'm really sorry. It doesn't mean they're correct. I'm just sorry that they're frustrated. How's the tension level likely to be? Then we try to make it right. The truth is we do not just do what the customer wants. You don't either. We find a win-win way for everybody in a respectful, dignified way to get to a solution that everybody can work with. But we don't just go, sure, do whatever you want, sir. Take all the dishwashers out of the store, no problem. We work with them. We just don't, but we don't say to the customer, look, man, I'm busy. You complained about this last week. Now just hold your horses. We'll talk about it next week. Has anybody ever tried that with a customer? Good. Have you done it to an employee? Probably. And here's all I'm going to tell you, and then we're going to move on. When you handle customer complaints poorly, what will they ultimately do? They won't come back. But here's the really funny, but not funny irony of this. When you handle employee complaints badly, what do? They keep coming. They keep coming. And then we pay them to be unhappy. It's brilliant. And I'm not joking. This is happening all over America. Thank you. Have a great day. Oh, okay, I'll wait right here. She'll be right back, she said. This is happening all over America. They're rude to the employee. I don't mean the employee's right. They might be wrong, but they're still rude to them. Then the employee's pissed off, and now they come to work mad all day. Brilliant. Think about it. I'm really not joking.
Another thing, when you PO the customer, he's giving you free advertising.
Yes, and so is the employee.
And the employee.
Because I could tell you when employees love what they do and they believe in your product, guess who they're talking to? Yeah, everybody, man. They got people. You think they don't have Facebook? You think they don't defend you online? You think they don't talk about you in the community? Of course they do. But they got to believe. And if we treat them with respect, it increases the odds. Moving to the next page, another piece of giving really great service, and I wrote a lot about this in the red book that Gary's reading. Did you read the energy stuff?
Rereading now.
What'd you learn from that? Besides you did everything wrong.
That's what I learned.
Huh? What'd you do wrong?
Everything.
Can you be more general?
Letting the stress of the business show.
Yeah. See, if my energy is tense, which sometimes it is, I mean, but if I let that tension come into the workplace, what's all the employees going to pick up? Tension. And then what are they going to give to you as the customer? Tension. And what's the odds of having a bad experience when everybody's tense? Right. So energy management. In a healthy organization, just like our organic rice grower from this morning, those of y'all who are here, you create an environment in which the energy is more positive. So in a good workplace, people feel better. It's more likely, that their energy will be good. But that's not the only piece of this. You could learn to manage your energy. You could be mad at the world, but that ain't going to help. So we have this very simple thing about energy. It's written up in depth in the red book. Do you know what I'm talking about, energy? Like you walk in a building and they look at you like you're crazy, or they're rude to you, or they look like they're on sedatives, even though you're paying a lot of money. It's not that much fun. Okay, so energy is what we bring. We all bring energy. And then there's a group energy too when you get good at this. And this is also true in sports. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with a band, with a family dynamic. We all got it everywhere. So I'm going to teach you how to manage your energy. And yes, we teach this to every new employee when they come in. And guess what? They all understand it. It's really not that hard. Congress hasn't taken this class yet. But they would be helped enormously if we sent them to somewhere to write a vision together. Just FYI. 3 elements of energy that we teach. The first is your physical energy. You're all familiar with this. Ode could help us probably, but how would you manage your physical energy? What would you do? Eating the right food, very important. Eating the right food. Vegetables. No, people don't know, but I'm just telling you, man, I grew up on bad food. But I'm telling you, if you eat better food, you will feel better. I'm just saying. Now, when you only eat bad food, you don't know that you feel bad. It's true. When you only drove a bad car, which I've driven, it doesn't bother you at all. It really doesn't. It's only when they put you like in a Mercedes for a week, and then you got to go back in your other car, and you're like, oh my God, this is horrible. If you never get in a good car, the bad one don't bother you. It's the same with food. If all you eat, I grew up, going to McDonald's, Kraft macaroni and cheese, whatever. I didn't have a deprived childhood, but it's what we ate. But when you eat better food, you will feel better. People have a hard time. This is part of the poverty problem, is that people aren't getting good food, and they're trying to get into recovery and get back out of prison. It's tough. What else do you do to manage your physical energy? Exercise, very important. I run every day. I'm very slow, but I'm very determined. I'm just going to run. I did. I ran a half hour this morning before I came over here. What else?
Rest.
Sleep, very important. Very good. You got the idea. This one's not shocking. The second one we call emotional energy, but it could also be mental, spiritual, or intellectual energy. It's like the less tangible in here. How would you manage that?
Finding a happy place.
Yeah, being in a positive place, this is actually statistically shown. Happiness is literally contagious. And this is one of the reasons about the hiring. Somebody asked me this morning, I think. So it's partly the hiring, but see, when you bring people into a positive workplace, they act better. Why? Because everybody's positive. If you bring them into a negative workplace, they want to fit in. How do we fit in? We complain.
And when I go into a negative workplace, I think the hiring manager is probably off in the head a little bit because they did a lot of bad.
Yes. I can tell you flat out, the energy in any organization is almost always mostly a reflection of me, of the leader. I could tell you. I'll tell you right, I'll walk into any business you want, anywhere in the country, not-for-profit, the same thing, because there's lots of not-for-profits with great missions that, by the way, are run the same as General Motors, and they're not doing servant leadership there either, even though their mission is very community-based, but they still don't treat the people who work there with respect, only the clients. Not smart, okay? So the energy is always a reflection of you and me. So emotional energy, all these things that you already know. Exercise actually contributes a lot to that also. So for me, the running is just as much for my headspace as it is for my physical health. Whatever spiritual activity, organized or not, you all like to do is a personal thing, but whether it's prayer, writing poetry, walking in the woods, it's all your call, but doing the things that you feel spiritually nourished. For me, a lot is learning. When I'm reading, my brain is going, man, I'm excited. Other people have a learning disability. It's difficult for them to read, so it's a personal thing. The third element, the first two are both interesting, helpful to teacher employees, but not shocking. The third one, I learned from all this from a friend of mine, Anise Kavanaugh. I wrote her up in the book. The third one blew me away. She calls it vibrational energy. By the way, there's a woman named Verta Mae Grosvenor. Anybody heard of her? African-American woman, probably late 70s now. She wrote a cookbook like 40 years ago called Vibration Cooking. It's one of the first cookbooks I read when I started cooking. I love it. Very interesting. Anyway, vibrational energy. This is the energy that everybody picks up from us. It's not what you intend always, it's what they're taking away. And you all know this in your life because there's the people like when you're having a bad day that you seek out because they're calming. Their presence is positive. They can listen to you without lecturing you. You feel better when you're near them or talking to them. Then there's the other people. They have very dissonant vibrational energy. They come into the office or into your house or into the restaurant, and the whole place starts going like this. Because they're so wired up and whacked, and they don't mean it, but they're sending the whole place into a tizzy. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, how would you manage your vibrational energy? Smiling makes an enormous difference. Anybody in retail or on the phone, I'm just going to tell you, if I greet you and I'm behind the counter and I greet you like this, can I help you? Or like this, can I help you? The vibrational energy is totally different. Now, the first person with the frown might actually be 3 times smarter and work harder, but nevertheless, the customer's perception of the vibrational energy will be negative. Unfortunately, about 60% of the world has a resting facial expression, which is not a smile. So they need to get trained that smiling is important. It's not whether you want to smile. Sometimes I don't want to wait on customers, but we're here and they're coming and I'm in business, so we're going to wait on them. Smiling makes a big difference. Posture also makes a really big difference. I am not your mother. You can slouch all you want when you're at home. But when you're at work, I'm just telling you, if I come to the counter like this, or I come to the counter like this, it's a totally different experience. I'm no smarter, but you're going to react totally differently. Breathing. Highly underestimated. Almost everybody with bad vibrational energy is not breathing properly. And I've never taken yoga, and I'm not a specialist in this, but I'm just telling you, if you pause and take like 5 to 10 deep breaths, you will not have bad vibrational energy. Just take it in and let it out, because you will pause and you will get yourself centered. It's incredibly simple. And I'm telling you, most people that are starting to lose it are not breathing. And the best thing you can do as the boss is just say, hey, dude, stop, breathe. Usually they'll go, I'm fine. Which is like a red light going, I'm not fine. Okay, a couple other things that will improve your vibrational energy. Generosity. This is statistically proven. This is not just about ethics. Generosity will improve your vibrational energy. Compassion will improve your vibrational energy. Humility will improve your vibrational energy.
I had an employee last week that had a negative vibrational energy.
Yeah.
That affected
Yeah.
the entire team.
Yeah.
And so I just asked her to come in the office.
Yeah.
And so what's going on? And of course she's like, nothing.
Right.
I said, no, I think something's going on. And so after talking, and yeah, there was stuff going on. And
Yeah.
communication.
Yeah. This is a training tool. See, this is no longer an opinion. Like I am an expert, honestly, on energy. And it doesn't take a 5 years, program at the university to get good at it. I'm just saying. So when they go, I'm fine, it's like, well, you may think you're fine, just like you might be telling me the salt level is right in the soup, but I'm the chef, and I'm telling you the salt level's not right. When you cook at home, go for it. You could be as rude as you want, or have as little salt in the soup as you want. But when you're here, I'm going to tell you this is not right, and we need to add salt, and your vibrational energy needs to be better. It's a performance issue, which is wholly different than like this ethical value judgment of them as a human. I'm not saying they're a bad human. I'm just saying your vibrational energy is bad. You can be a fabulous human, but your vibrational energy is no good. 4 steps to managing it. Very simple, quickly. First is read it. We use a 0 to 10 scale. 10 does not mean you are running frantically around the room. My assistant, Jenny Tubbs, pointed out we should have called it 0 to Zen. I like that. So 10 energy is good, calming. You may be moving quickly, but it's at a good pace, not out of control. Second step is to vision it. Y'all did that. So if you're teaching this to new employees, I just say, well, where are you now? Where do you want to be at the end of the day? Now, not everybody's a 9 or 10 every day because they got health issues. There's something wrong in the family. There's some stress issue, right? But at least we know that you're playing with a disadvantage so we can help you together. Now, if you're a leader, though, and you come in with 7 energy, where's everybody else likely to be? 7 or below. If a customer experiences your business with 7 energy, what's the odds of them coming back? Not real good. So you might be at a 7. It's totally normal. When I get up, sometimes I'm at a 7. But between when I get out of bed and when I pull the door handle, I better get to a 9 or 10 unless I have some, your mother's really ill. It's a different situation. But that's an exception. The rest of the time, get in character. Because the employee don't feel like waiting on the customers either, but you don't tolerate that. So how come we could come with 7 energy and then be mad at them for not having a 9? Not smart. Third step, manage it. That's how you get from where you are to where you're going to end the day with your vision. And then the 4th step is to repeat it, because all day long stuff's happening. Somebody can't find an order. Somebody slipped on the job and got hurt. This takes about, I just taught it to you, 5 minutes to teach this. Most people get it. Most of them get better. And then they have language to talk about it. And then also this helps me because I am more mindful. Because I teach it, I'm more careful. I feel my energy slide too. And I don't catch it perfect every time. But I know what I did wrong. Just like whatever, a basketball player makes a bad play. A good one knows what they did wrong. They watch the game film, they correct their course, and they don't do it again. Does this make sense? It's not hard. You can do it. If all you do is improve your own energy, you will improve your organization. Because everybody's picking up on your energy and they're reacting to you in kind. On the next page, just a couple quick things to go through. Managing in an ethical manner. This is part of the living it. Somebody said earlier, you got to go out and do it every day. It's easy to say this, but it's hard to do it when the labor situation is tight, money's tight, the weather's bad, or whatever we all got going on. It's tough. But if we don't manage in an ethical manner, the odds of living a great organizational life are not high. Okay? So we want to live our values. And then I also like to share the teaching around values with all the employees. See, people always say, like, everything is political, but I don't even care about that. What I say is every decision you make is an ethical decision. People don't realize that. Whether you pick up the dirty cup out of the gutter when you walk over it, that's an ethical decision. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I've walked over some in my day too. But because I try to be mindful of this, when I want to walk over it because I get tired of picking up other people's trash out of the gutter. But it's on our street. Sometimes I'm so in the habit of doing it, I start picking up paper towels. I did it actually last night. I pick up the paper towels off the floor in other people's bathrooms. And I'm like, why are you doing this? But it's just habit, man. I'm so in the habit of doing it. Yeah, absolutely. All I'm saying is be mindful of it and then teach your people in the organization. I'm struggling with this. What do you think we should do? Is a very healthy question. I got a difficult customer situation. Angela, you just started last week, but can I run this by you and get your view on it? She's been there 3 weeks. What's her perception of her role in the company? The boss came and asked for help. Yeah. And she might actually have a better answer than me. Hello. See, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, but the bosses we don't know what we're doing. No, it's the truth. Nobody really knows what they're doing. Every day I'm running a company bigger than anyone I've ever run in my life. Seriously. What we do is we try to make the right decision, but the more you get people involved, the better decisions you're going to get. It works, okay? Speaking of that, learning and teaching. So we have a lot of, we've grown a lot, as you know. We got a lot of managers and partners. So we ask every leadership person, organization to do on average 2 hours of formal learning per week.
Repeat that again. 2 hours formal learning per week.
That was beautiful.
That was awesome.
This is actually a good teaching thing because, see, the employees usually know the answer, even though they ask you. Huh? That's right. 2 hours of formal learning per week. You said it beautifully.
It's formal learning with you?
No.
Nope, it can be.
Yep. But it doesn't mean like I sit near Gary watching the football game because he's so brilliant, I just feel smarter. Like that might be true, but that's not what we call formal learning. Formal learning for us would be you go to what you're doing now. You read a book. You do a book on tape. You go to some other seminar. But they're actively learning. Why would we want them to learn? If you're not learning, if we're not learning and getting better, we're getting worse. Now, this is where I want everybody to think like a leader, so you build a culture where everybody's learning. Yes, ma'am.
Well, so if it's your employees reading a book, so
What-
do you have a system where they're logging in?
We don't track it generally. Some people have tracked it. It's leadership people, so they're on salary. But the point is, we build a learning culture, and it starts with the leaders learning. If the leaders aren't learning, who else is going to be learning? And then we ask them all to teach 1 hour within the organization per month. Now, they don't all do it, but this is the expectation.
This is management.
Yeah, yeah. Chris?
If they were to say come to a conference like this,
Yeah.
would your business pay for them to go, or is that out of
Well,
their
each
own
business
pocket?
within our organization, everybody's making their own decisions. In general, I would personally, absolutely. I'll pay your way today. Oh, it's free. It's all on the house. Yeah, we would, because now, does every partner, managing partner agree to pay for everything? No. Am I frustrated when they don't? Yes. Why do they not want it? Because, the same reasons everybody else don't want it. Money's tight, I don't know if this guy's doing a good enough job, and they're all kind of valid reasons. But Paul and I, we disagree on many things tactically, but we agree on the big picture and on the values, and learning is like the top of our list from day one. If you want to go learn, let's go. And honestly, in our business, there's very little you could study that would not help. You want to learn Chinese? Well, we sell Chinese tea. You want to study sociology? That's just called management. You want to study psychology? That's called management too. Well, whatever you want to learn. I mean, you want to learn how to write? Good. We'll have marketing. It's the same.
Would that fall into college studying?
It could be. I mean, I don't mean I'm going to pay. I don't have the money to pay everybody's tuition at University of Michigan. I'm just saying we want them to learn. But here, I give you a copy of the book. If you work for us, go read it. Well, I don't want to read that. Well, what do you want to read? Well, I mean, there's a lot in books. I'm a big believer. And you can watch it all now on YouTube videos for free. So, yes, I'm all for the University of Michigan. It supports Ann Arbor, but I don't have 50 grand for 600 employees each to go to the university. But I'll buy them a book. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Bottom of page 8. This is a very interesting little thing I'll go through quickly, but this is a very good thing of learning a skill. So Maggie from Zing taught me this. I love it. We teach it to everybody. This is all skills that you learn go through this path. Does anybody know this already? You do. Okay. Yeah, very good. If we had more time, I'd make you come up and teach it, but I'm going to let you off the hook. Okay. So when you learn a skill, like before you got here today, y'all were at the bottom of this chart. There's no hierarchy of value. All these stages have merit. But you were at the bottom here in terms of servant leadership. You didn't know anything about it. You were unconsciously incompetent. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It's just you didn't even know what servant leadership was, and you didn't know how to do it. As Maggie says, the part on the left is in your head, and the part on the right is in the hands. It's in the doing, right? So now I've trained you on it today, so now you are consciously incompetent, because now you know what it is, but you don't know how to do it. And even if you think you do, you're going to revert right back to what you've been doing as soon as something goes wrong. And that's not bad. It's just you got 30, 40, 50 years of learning it the other way. You can't undo it in a day. Oh, thanks, Al. If you move to the next level, what's that? Consciously competent. And how do you get from conscious incompetence to conscious competence? Training and learning and practice. Lots of practice. Lots of practice. If you keep doing it over and over and over again, like for me, I've been studying this and working at it for 30 years. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm pretty good at it. I don't need to think. When Angela's rude to me, I don't need to think like, okay, wait, okay, treat her like a customer, okay, wow. No, but tomorrow when you go back to work, many of you will have an employee complain to you, and many of you will start to go, look, man, wow. No, you will. It's okay. It's the first time you're doing it. So if you practice, you get to conscious incompetence. If you do it over and over and over again, you get up here, unconsciously competent. That means you just do it. Driving, that would be all of y'all for driving. That's why you could text, answer the phone, change the CD, and drive all at the same time. It's not bad to be unconsciously competent, because you got to be able to do multiple things sometimes while you're doing one thing. You got to be able to do another thing, and unconscious competence allows you to do that. But where are the best teachers? Yeah. When you're here, you are not training well. You're only mad. If you've ever had the feeling like, I can't believe they don't get it, it's so obvious. Who's had that feeling? That's because you're here and they're down here. And being mad at them will not raise them up. Guaranteed, 100%. Here's the other thing. I just realized this 6 months ago. I've been teaching this. I learned it from Maggie 20 years. I've been teaching it for 15 years. You don't learn here either. No learning takes place when you're unconsciously competent. Because you have to be mindful in order to be learning. This is true for all skills. If you explain this to new people when they come in, they could understand it. Oh, of course I'm not good at it on the first week. And you could say it might take you, usually it takes people between 2 months and 6 months to become consciously competent at that. Okay, now they got an expectation. Does this make sense? It's very helpful for me. Okay, on the next page, this is our training compact. We put this in place early in Zing Train 2. It's one of the other early things Maggie led us to do. We use this in all our hiring, interviewing, training, everything. Piece on the left is really, she just wrote down what Paul and I were trying to do, but it was helpful to write it down. But the piece on the right was huge. Who do you think used to be responsible for the trainees' training? The trainer. It don't work. It's called high school. They can make you come, but you will prove daily that you will learn nothing, just to prove your independence. Until one day you realize, I guess I'm going, I might as well learn something. Okay, so we're telling people whether they're 16 or 60, from the time they get in the interview, they are responsible for their own development, growth, and success. Whoa. This is a major departure from the way the rest of the world runs, where the boss is responsible for your success. I'm like, no, I'm not. I am on my end, but you are on your end. We put 100% responsibility on both. It's one of the best things I ever learned from anybody. Responsibility goes up in multiples of 100%. I'm fully responsible that y'all learned something over the last 2.5 hours. But you also are 100% responsible. If you sat here for 2.5 hours and you didn't learn anything, seriously, you had to be working at it really hard. I wish we could harness that. Does this make sense? So we go through this with everybody, and I'm going to tell you, it changes the whole game, because from the time they're interviewed, they're getting taught that they're responsible for their own success, not wait. Don't wait. Go to it. Something's not working, go to it. Makes a huge difference. 2 other things to go through and we'll get you done. It says the manager, so number 5 there, the leader's job in servant leadership is that we hire people to help them succeed. The more successful we are, the more we get to hire more people to help them succeed. This is the opposite of the old model. The old model is we hire the other people so I could succeed. But here's the funny thing. If there's 20 employees in your business and they're all succeeding, how are you probably doing? Great. But if you're succeeding and they're losing, how is that sustainable? No. So all I got to do is help you all be great, and I'm rocking. Because it's physically impossible to have 20, 30, 15 people on a team. They're all doing well and me not be doing well. It won't happen. So my focus is help you get to greatness and teach everybody to go for greatness. And you're going to find this in sports. You're going to find this in music teachers, a good minister, whatever it's going to be. They're going to push you. They believe in you. They're going to push you to get to greatness. Managers, yes?
Would you say that to your employees?
Yeah.
He does say that?
Every day I say it in some form, sure. That I'm here to help them get to greatness.
Because if you're not great, I can't be great? You say that?
Well, I don't say can't because I'm going to be great. I'm going to be flawed and human, but I'm going for great. If you want to come with, you could work here. If you want to be great, you could work here. Now, you could be a single parent with 4 kids working 2 days a week, and you could still be great at what you do. It doesn't mean you got to go to the top of the top. It just means if you're bussing tables, washing dishes, or answering the phone, or picking up anything, do it well. Because I got low patience for mediocrity. Life is way too short. And everybody could do something great. And our job is to help them get there. And if they're all doing something great, they're going to feel better. I'm going to feel better. The customer going to feel better. It's all a virtuous, organic cycle. So yeah, absolutely, I tell them. If I don't tell them, they ain't going to know. Because it's the opposite of what they learned every other job, where they're supposed to follow orders. So managers' role in training. Very simple acronym. I like acronyms. I can't remember stuff. CREW. I remember that from Grand Cru Wines. So there's 3 parts of what the manager does with training that when it's working well. The first is context. So here's bad context with the trainee. William, you got to go to this BAS class, but it's kind of a bunch of BS. But anyway, you got to go because the boss wants you to be there, and just hurry up and get back here. We got real work to do. That's bad context. What's the odds of him actually learning anything in that frame? 0. Good context. William, you know, BAS is running this fabulous program. I know we're super busy, but actually I thought I could come in early for you today so we could get you out for the afternoon so you could go learn this stuff, because I think it's actually going to be enormously helpful for us going forward. And what I was thinking is maybe in a couple weeks you could present to the rest of the team the top 5 or 4 things you learned. Kind of different. R stands for reinforce. Here's bad reinforcement. Oh, William, man, come on. We got work to do, man. Is that thing over with? I can't believe we had to send you there. Anyway, let's get back to work. That's bad reinforcement. I should ask you whether these are bad, but I think you would know. Here's good reinforcement. William, man, how was that class? You know, maybe we could meet in the morning tomorrow, just 15 minutes for coffee. I'll buy you a cup of coffee. Just I want to hear some of the top things you learned. And then the U stands for use. I think the data is like 80 or 90% of training is never used. If they don't use it within like a week, they forget 80%, 90%. So most training is a waste of time. They would be better to donate the money, not send them to the training, because it's true. Because they send them to the training to get them all excited, then they come back and don't use it. Now they're either depressed or they feel useless. You might as well just left them at work and sent the money to the shelter and help somebody that really needs it. So the key is we got to put it to use. So William, let's come up with 3, 4 things you could start doing next week so we can build some new habits or build on these strengths or build on these new ideas so we can put this into practice. Those of you, who's here with somebody that they work with? You can do this with yourselves by committing to meeting in the next 3 to 4 days for half an hour over a cup of coffee or iced tea or whatever you all want to do, and go over what you learned and what you're going to do. And you can self-manage through that, and you will make a bigger difference, because you too will forget most of what I told you until I come back next year. And you'll go, oh man, I never did that. Last one. It is the leader's job in servant leadership to lead with appreciation.
Attitude of gratitude. Attitude of gratitude.
Yeah. It's not hard, but we don't do it. One of the natural laws of business and of life is that strengths lead to weaknesses. High achievers, which is a lot of us in this room, tend to be pushing for greatness and we forget to appreciate. It's natural. But what I would suggest is the more appreciative I get, and it's not how I was raised, but because I was raised like, what do you mean you only got an A-? The more appreciative I get, the better people do. And what I learned after many years of not understanding this is the more appreciative I am of the moment, the higher the odds of getting to the greatness later. Right? So, two things. One that we do every meeting, I learned this from a friend of mine in North Carolina, Alexandria, 20 years ago. I swear by it. Every meeting we have, we end with 2 to 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes at the max of what we call appreciations. Many of you will roll your eyes and think it's corny, but it's not. It's very simple. We have 2 minutes at the end and we go, oh yeah, appreciations. I want to appreciate Angela for asking really good questions today. I want to appreciate Elmian for helping get all this set up so we could be down here, and I want to appreciate Wayne Mullins for whatever. It's very simple. Nobody has to say anything. But they go out from the meeting with much better energy. Because no matter how bad the day is, the truth is we're mostly surrounded by pretty good stuff. And when you stop appreciating it, it starts to go away. And when you pause before you leave for this 2 to 3 minutes, it's amazing how much difference it makes. The other one I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to suggest you do it on your way out, is called 3 and out. I made it up for myself. Because when I became conscious, I realized I was first unconsciously confident about energy management because I was pretty good at it, but I couldn't explain it to you until my friend and niece taught it to me. Then I've gone back through these stages, right? So as I became more mindful of my own energy, I realized the obvious, which is when my energy's bad, which can happen because whatever, I got a personal issue, or we got a bad financial statement, or some customer berated me and told me we're idiots, and Lord knows what customers will say. Most of you have heard the bad things too. And it bums me out. And I take it personally, right? And I feel my energy going down. And then I taught myself this 3 and out. So I could feel it going down. I just find anybody that I work with, or a supplier or a customer, and I get up, if I can, in person, or on the phone is fine, or email, and I thank them. And usually it's like an employee who works on the counter, and I'll just go like, hey, you know what? I just want to tell you, you've been here 3 years, and you add so much stability to the crew, and I just really appreciate it. I don't make it up. It's got to be true. What kind of energy do you think I get back? Then I immediately go and do it again with a different person. What kind of energy do you think I get back? And then immediately I go to a third one. What kind of energy do you get back? Okay, I'm very stubborn. Even I could not stay in a bad mood in the face of, because I'm going to tell you, they almost cry. When the boss comes across the room or gets on the phone or emails just to say to the secretary, I so appreciate what you do every day, they will almost be in tears. And when you do that, you cannot stay in a bad frame because they're so appreciative and touched by this simple act that you took, which cost nothing. It took, like if I do it on email, it takes 90 seconds. I sent one to one of our suppliers a while ago, Newski's Bacon from Wisconsin. They're fabulous. I mean, they're so helpful. They're great. 2 hours later, I get back. She's like, you made my day. All I said was, you guys are so great. You help us with every promotion we ask for. The product is always good. We love selling your stuff, which is all true. We've been buying it for 32 years. She's like, you made my day. Now, when she said, you made my day, how can I not have my day go up too? So this simple 3 and out, you could turn your energy around. So if your energy's headed down from 7 to 6 to 5, and you know you're going to drag the rest of your crew down, and they're going to wait on customers and give bad service, and then you're going to spend your whole day handling customer complaints, or you could do the 3 and out, which won't eliminate all problems, but significantly increases the odds of good things happening, and it's free. And it works. So I would just recommend, I'll take a minute or two for questions, fill out evals, sign books or whatever, but on your way out, this is a room full of nice people. No, I'm serious. And some of you know each other, some of you don't, but if you take a minute and appreciate somebody on your way out, you will see that it will improve the rest of your day. and you will be in a better mood when you get back to work or wherever. So I'm happy to take a minute or two for questions. I know we're at the end of the time, but yes, ma'am.
You had a business that wasn't successful?
Yeah. We had a produce market. It's a long story, but the woman who is about 20 years ago, the managing partner, it didn't work out at all, and we don't do anything without the managing partner. And it's a long, sorry saga, which is funny now, but wasn't very funny at the time. So yeah, everybody fails. Paul was much better at reminding me that if you're going to trial out, not everything's going to work. I wasn't that happy at the time.
3 books that were instructive for you in shaping your business.
The good news is I have a long reading list in the back, but it's all in these books, like all of what I learned. But I mean, there's tons in here, but I don't know. Growing a Business by Paul Hawken, very good. Servant Leadership, Robert Greenleaf. I'm a big fan of Open Book Finance, which we didn't even get into, but a great game of business. But there's more books on the back of here, and if you run out of those, email me, because I actually have like 100 more that didn't get in the book.
How do you manage doing servant leadership with also planning for, planning your business or working on your business?
Well, the work is to serve the organization, so it doesn't mean you're running around only doing what the employees want. So if the employee really needs help, I need to help them. But if the employee's like, I'm going to go have a cigarette, could you take care of my section for the next half hour? It's like, no, that's not a good idea. So part of the work, and we talked about this last night, is managing yourself, is to work on the business. And that requires dedicated time. And if you get good at it, you just do it. But most people who are used to working in the business, which is how we all start, like running around on the counter, on the phone, working a construction job, that's good. But at some point, somebody has to write the vision. And the odds of one of your employees showing up tomorrow with like, hey, I was reading this book on vision on my day off, and I wrote one for the company for 10 years out. Would you mind looking at it? Are very low. The odds of an employee coming in with a 5-page training program that you didn't ask him to write are very low. So one of us has to get that going. So you got to make time. But I would suggest you schedule that time. Because if you schedule yourself for 2 hours a week to work on the business, it will increase the odds of you getting there. So I know y'all got, oh, yes, sir.
I was going to ask you.
Okay.
If you'd gone over the writing with these people this morning.
The what?
Like you write
Oh,
on your pad every day.
yeah, a journal.
I think that writing for people that almost to the bottom.
Yeah,
And a lot of your people that she said she takes care of.
yeah,
Jail.
yeah.
I seen a 30-year-old, a 30-year man got out of jail, and all he could do was walk behind his sister.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So writing.
Writing, I'm a big believer in writing. I agree. Some of y'all wrote more freehand today than you've done in the last 2 years put together. Yes, ma'am. Irene.
Several times today you've mentioned the struggles of people that are coming out of incarceration.
Well, that's just because that's their work, and so it's not my major experience. That's what they do, and we've hired people coming out of those programs in the effort to contribute.
Okay, I hear you do awesome training with the employees, hiring.
We screw it all up too. Please don't misunderstand.
But I mean, we all listening to you. And
Yeah.
you're telling all these great things that you do. You hire, teach them.
I got a long list of what we don't do well
Do
enough
they
to.
ever quit? I mean,
Of course they do.
what's
We
your
got all the
turnover?
same problems y'all got. It's just how we deal with them.
I mean, do you have your what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
your turnover?
we got turnover. It's in Ann Arbor. Everybody's leaving. The whole town considers moving or going back to school every August. Okay, it's the food business, so no offense to us, but most people don't choose it as a career. It's something to do after we get our liberal arts degree and we don't know what else to do.
Did you say you get a card, like you may get questions later or something like that?
I'm doing questions now. My cards are laying right up here, though.
Okay. No, we actually have to head out, but I want to grab your cards.
Yeah, please. They're right here. They're right up here.
Before everybody gets up and leave, I promised the people we rented from that I wouldn't allow any food or beverage in this building.
So try to remove it.
Please take everything that's around you.
So I want to thank, yes, ma'am.
We talked about a lot of stuff today. If you were wanting to implement it,
Yeah.
what's the one thing
What's the one thing I would do? Well, the energy, your personal energy management could start right now when you go home. Because we all have that thing of where you could let down your guard and our energy is slack when we get home. But if you try to take a deep breath and actually bring good energy into the house, guess what? The night will improve. Being nice to your employees, just try to do 3 extra miles tomorrow. I'll bet you it'll change the day. Don't ask for anything, just do it. Simple. Thank you all very much.